Hello and welcome to another episode of the BSN podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 30th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Tuesday, August 30th here today. Coming off another late night of baseball last night where I had the Yankees and the Angels out west. Only two more games left of this late 9:30 starts, which are so annoying. Can't stand them at all. They're just late. It's annoying. It's not fun, and it's not fun either when the Yankees lose these games, as they lose 4-3. Judge did his 50th home run, which is positive. Rizzo also had a homer, so maybe he's starting. You hope that's maybe something where he starts to get out of his little slump and stretch that he's been on recently. Dropping him down in the order down to the sixth spot. With Boone trying to do some different things, but another loss for the Yankees. And again, it's weird because they started out. They finished the homestand with 3 straight wins. And you got the 2 big wins against the Mets, obviously, in the Subway Series. You then go out to Oakland, win the first 2, and you're like, all right, this is expected. They're kind of, they were on a 5-game win streak, and then they lose that game on Saturday, and then they lose again on Sunday, and it's just like, now they can't hit. Now they're not getting the big hit. Montez yesterday was all right, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 6 Ks. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, that's not good enough in the playoffs, I'll tell you that. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad outing, but it wasn't what you want to see in the playoffs. So I would put that under the label of last night. I said it's a big opportunity for Montez to kind of maybe gain a little bit of the Yankees fans' trust, because if he has another good start where he goes out 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 Ks, no matter who the opponent is, that's back-to-back good starts, and it's against, the Mets, who we all know we all know the pressure and the stakes that it takes, to beat them. And you take a team against the Angels, who are not, their record's not good, but they have some, they got Trout, they got Ohtani, so you knock them down, doing what you need to do. He wasn't great last night. So it's like, now you look at it and you say, 2 bad starts, 1 all-right outing, a really good outing, and another all-right outing. So his first, 5 starts as a Yankee are kind of up in the air. So I don't think he fully has the Yankee fans' trust yet. Opportunity last night to do that. Wasn't great. Again, wasn't awful. It wasn't like he got nailed 7 runs in 2 innings and he was out of there in the 3rd inning. But it wasn't good enough either in the playoffs. So he's got to find a way. And you hope that maybe as September rolls on, he can get a little bit more comfortable. But it's just tough because now this Yankee team, again, I told you, they were showing signs of what they were earlier in the year. And that was the best team in baseball over that course of that 5-game win streak. And not just because they were winning those 5 games. That game that they beat Oakland 13-4, they did not hit a home run in that game. It was all small ball. It was singles, doubles, driving in runners, good base running, all that stuff. Now they're going back to their old ways just like that. So got to find a way to be a little bit more consistent. They'll look to bounce back today, game 2 of a 3-game set. Also game 6 of this 10-game road trip. So they will look to bounce back today. Right now they are 2-3 on this road trip. Got to find a way to bounce back tonight. Mets will also open up a big, very big 3-game set at home, Citi Field, against the Dodgers tonight. Really, really big game. It's just a massive, massive series, especially for the Mets, because after this, you look at the Mets' September schedule, it gets a lot easier for the New York Mets. So this is a big series opening tonight. So game 2 of 3-game set for the Yankees against the Angels. First game of a 3-game set for the Mets against the Dodgers at Citi Field should be a very good series there. All right, so the topics for today's podcast, I'm going to do a little bit different today. Started a little bit of a different topic today, and we're going to roll with this until the football season. So today is going to be the first day of my standings predictions in each of the NFL, each of the leagues. I'll go with the AFC, then go to the NFC, back to the AFC, bounce back and forth. So today I'm going to start with the AFC East, and I'm going to give you my standings predictions. Who's going to finish in first, second, third, fourth, playoff team, records. I'll also give you the team's floor, where the worst record I think they will have this year, what their best record they could have, and where I actually think they'll be at the end of the year. So today's going to be AFC East. Tomorrow's going to be NFC East. Then Thursday will be AFC North. Wednesday will be NFC North. And then Thursday will be, Thursday, AFC East today. Wednesday, NFC East. Thursday's AFC North. Friday's NFC North. And then Monday will be AFC West or AFC South, then NFC South, then AFC West. And then Thursday of next week, which will be the first game, will be NFC West as we'll close it out. So today's going to be the first day of it, and today I'm going to start with the AFC East, start at the top of the standings, then go to the NFC East, AFC North, NFC North, AFC South, NFC South, AFC West. We'll close it out with the NFC West. So today's the first day. I'll give you my AFC projections, tell you where each team falls, and we'll get into it. Looking forward to doing this over the next week or so. We're also going to get into the Knicks. Got some news last night out of the New York Knicks with the RJ Barrett extension. The Knicks signed RJ Barrett to a big 4-year deal. And this kind of closes out all the rumors about Donovan Mitchell. Not that a deal can't happen, but if a deal does get done, it looks as if it's not going to include RJ Barrett anymore. Looks like they kind of set a deadline last night where Leon Rose said, look, you either, tell Danny Ainge, he said, look, you can get Barrett or we're going to lock him up tonight. We could still talk about, these conversations. We could still have conversations centered around Donovan Mitchell. You hear reports that it's not over yet. A deal still could get done, but it looks like it's not going to include RJ Barrett anymore. I'll get into this deal. I'll tell you why it's a good deal for the Knicks, although I wasn't anti-trading RJ Barrett. I didn't think that would be a terrible idea. Anything to get Donovan Mitchell, that's how I saw it. But I still don't disagree with this deal. He's getting better each year. He's improving. He's he's kind of the face of the franchise. He's young, talented, and an interesting stat I'll reveal to you as well later on in the show about this move. And really shows you this is the first time in a long time they've hit on one of their draft picks, the New York Knicks. So we'll get into it. We'll finish things off as well with the New York sports update. Like I said, Yankees tonight against the Angels, and Mets tonight against the Dodgers. So should be good, exciting night of baseball ahead. All right, so with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So like I said, yesterday, anytime I finish up the podcast, I always think, things to talk about. So I figured, I don't think I've really done this before, where I've gone through each of the divisions and done the standings, but I'm going to do it this year. So each day up until Thursday, I probably should have technically started it yesterday because then it would have ended on Wednesday, leading Thursday to be the preview and stuff, but this is going to end on Thursday. So on Thursday, I will give you my NFC West standings projections, and then after that, I'll do Rams, Bills, and we'll get into the season. So each day up until then, I'm going to do a division. So today's going to be AFC East, like I mentioned. Tomorrow will be NFC East. Then Thursday will be AFC North. Friday will be NFC North. Then on Monday, I'll do the AFC South. Then Tuesday, NFC South. Wednesday will be AFC West. Thursday, I'll wrap it up, which will be Rams, Bills as well, with NFC West. So today we're going to start with the AFC East, give you my projections, go into each team, go into detail a little bit with each team, give you each team's floor, give you their ceiling, and give you my actual prediction. So the floor being what I think if everything goes bad, what their record would be, what the worst possible record they could have looking at the schedule. I shouldn't say if everything goes bad, but what their worst possible record they could have, their best possible record, and then my prediction, which will be last. That will be my actual prediction. When you take the floor, ceiling into account, look, the floor is like if all the toss-up games, if you lose those games. Ceiling's like all those, the 50-50 games, if you win all those games. And my actual prediction and where each team will stand. So we'll start things off. So in the AFC East last year, the standings were the Buffalo Bills. They were first place, 11-6. The Patriots came in second. They were 10-7. Dolphins came in third. They were 9-8. Jets finished last at 4-13. So the Bills and the Patriots both made the playoffs last year. Dolphins at 9-8. Jets at 4-13 did not. So two teams out of the AFC East last year made the postseason out of the 7 to make it in the AFC. So we're going to start things off here. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to do it again. I have the Buffalo Bills finishing in first place, okay? They finished last year in first place at 11-6. I like a lot of what the Buffalo Bills did this offseason. They brought in Von Miller to continue to build on the edge, brought in a solid slot receiver. You add Isaiah McKenzie at the slot position, who seems to be having a really good camp. The Bills have done a lot of really good things. They added Kyrie Elam to lock up their secondary. You add that to a group of, you add that to a group of, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs already, to two guys that are very, very good players for this team. We all know, look, the quarterback's the biggest position in football. You got a good quarterback, you're gonna do good things. Josh Allen, very good quarterback. We all know one of the most elite quarterbacks in football. He's got Stephon Diggs. Isaiah McKenzie's having a good camp. You got Gabriel Davis as well to continue to kind of lock up that, kind of be a nice compliment to Diggs. They added Khalil Shakir in the draft out of Boise State. They got a very good running back room with James Cook, new draft pick, having a very good training camp. And you also have Devin Singletary. And again, you look at the secondary, Poyer, Hyde. You add Kyrie Lam. You add that to Tre'Davious White. Then you got, linebackers Edmonds. Then you have edge with Von Miller. Bills are a good team. There's no doubt about it. They're going to finish in first. They're going to be one of the best teams in football. They have one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. I don't think this is any surprise. I think everybody expected this coming. Bills are going to finish in first. And there's a reason why they are the betting odds favorites for the Super Bowl this season. And again, their schedule's a little rough. To start things off, they got the Rams, they got the Titans, who they can't seem to handle. Then they have the Chiefs, Ravens, teams like that, up the first 5-6 weeks. But they are the Bills. They got a very good team, very good running back room. Singletary, Singletary, Diggs, James Cook, all those guys. Gabriel Davis, Khalil Shakir, Isaiah McKenzie. They got a ton of weapons to work with. More so, Josh Allen has a ton of weapons to work with. I have the Bills finishing in first place. Now, here's my floor, ceiling, and prediction. So I think their floor is 11-6. I think that's the worst they could get. Again, I think there's a couple games on their schedule where it could be a toss-up. If they lose those games, I don't foresee them losing any more than 7 games. I don't foresee the Bills dropping to 10-7. I think their floor is 11-6. I think their ceiling is 14-3. They could be as good as that. You could even go the stretch and say 15-2. I'm not going to do that because just a 15-2 team's just insanely difficult to do. But I could see 14-3 is the ceiling. And my prediction for the Bills this year, finish in first and finish 13-4. Again, a couple tough games on their schedule. But they're the Bills. They got a very good roster. Rams are going to be looking at the Bills just like Bills fans are going to be looking at the Rams. Talented roster, a lot of weapons around their quarterback, much upgraded defense. You upgraded free agency, upgraded in the draft. You got to like what the Bills are doing. I have the Bills finishing in first, 13-4 record and winning the division. All right, finishing in second, I have the New England Patriots. This is where things start to get a little interesting with how the rest of the AFC East plays out. The AFC East is going to be interesting. Jets are improved. Dolphins are improved, but do you trust Tua? And the Patriots won a lot, won 10 games last year, but their whole coordinator situation, it's up in the air. So outside of the Bills, there going to be a lot of interesting movement in the AFC East. That's how I see it. New England, though, look, they got Mac Jones. He had a good year last year. Look, Bill Belichick's the coach. As long as he's the head coach, there's going to be competitive football, okay? I'm not a huge fan of Mac Jones. Not saying he's not good. I'm just not a huge fan of the way he plays. I don't think he's a guy that's going to go out and lead a team to 12, 13 wins like a Josh Allen. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's a guy with a lower ceiling. He's all right. He's not incredibly mobile, more of a pocket passer. He's not one of those shiny kind of players that is going to go out and dominate games. He kind of takes what the defense is giving him. It's not a pretty way of football that the Patriots run. It's an interesting team because it's not a ton of talent. You look at their running back room and you have I think his name's Rahamdre Stevenson. You have Damian Harris. You have a couple guys there. You have Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne in the receiving core. You obviously have Hunter Henry at the tight end position, kind of be the premier tight end there. They have some weapons. It's just all about what is Mac Jones. And you go to the defense, this defense is always going to be pretty solid with Bill Belichick. They do face up against, Pittsburgh week 2. Might be, Kenny Pickett playing. So there might be a win there. I just foresee, this New England team. Bill Belichick's led. I know that they're kind of, I know that their whole offensive coordinator situation's kind of up in the air. And you don't know who it's going to be. They haven't named one yet. But I still foresee New England finish second here. Again, not a huge fan of Mac Jones. They have some weapons, though. Hunter Henry, Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. They have some weapons. Don't have a legit number 1 receiver, but they do have some weapons. Usually Belichick makes it work. Brady all those years, not saying Mac Jones is going to be Brady, but Brady all those years never really had a true number 1 receiver. He had Gronk, but he had Julian Edelman, who really was not that good in the regular season. He was all right. He really turned it up in the postseason if you look at the numbers. So the Patriots have kind of always gone this way where they kind of have solid receivers, nobody really above like the rest. That's how I see it. So Patriots, I have them at second place in the division. Now, playoffs are going to be tough because I personally think there's going to be 3 teams coming out of the AFC West, and I think there's going to be 2 teams coming out of the AFC North, and then obviously the Bills. So that would be 7. So the Patriots are going to have to win, I think, 10, 11 games if they're going to want to make the postseason. That's how I see it. So the Patriots' floor this season, I have it at 8 and 9. There's a couple games that could go either way, where maybe they fall to 7 and 10 if things really, really aren't going well. But I have them at 8 and 9. Their ceiling is 11 and 6. I think they could be as good as that. There's a couple games, again, if they fall their way, maybe they go beat Buffalo at home. Maybe they find a way to, beat a, good Green Bay or something, or one of those teams. Maybe Belichick finds a way to muster something up and get a couple wins. So 11 and 6, I think, is their ceiling. But my prediction is, and again, they won 10 games last year. I think they'll win 1 less. I have New England finishing in second at 9 and 8. All right, now here's where a lot of people are probably going to get annoyed of what I'm about to do here. So Bills, Patriots are in first, second. I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. I think a lot of people see that kind of being the outcome. Maybe some people see Dolphins second. I just don't see it. Number 3 in the division, third place, I have the New York Jets. And you could call me biased. You can call me a homer. You could say whatever you want. I truly believe that this Jet team is in a better situation than the Miami Dolphins. I believe that. And I am with the Jets. I'm not a biased fan. I tear them up when they need to be torn up. And again, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm cautiously optimistic. Am I fully saying that they're going to go out and win 11 games this year? No. Do I think, is there potential for it to blow up right in your face? Definitely. It's the Jets. Everything seems to happen that way. But I do have the Jets finishing in third. Now, this is a big year for the Jets. Again, the honeymoon phase is over with Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas. If they win 4 or 5 games this year, they're not here next season. And again, as a Jet fan, and as fans across football, you gotta stop. And fans, you gotta stop, saying, 6 wins would be all right if we see progress. You gotta start winning football games. You can't every year go into it saying, 6 wins will be all right. If we go 6 and 11 but show progress, that's all right. Every season, it's about showing progress. It's time to go out, win some football games. The Jets are a better team. No matter how you look at it. They were very good in the draft. They took Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. You add that to a group at the receiving core that already includes Elijah Moore, already includes Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios coming off of the best year of his career. You look at the running back room now with Breece Hall, Michael Carter. Whenever Zach Wilson comes back, you hope he can be the guy. Your offensive line's improved. I know even without Becton, you have hope for them as well. You go to the defensive side of the ball, you're getting Carl Lawson back, right? There's a lot of positives around this team. It's a better team. It's an improved roster. So you could sit here and say, they're winning 6 games. They're better. Look at their schedule. The Jets' schedule gets a lot easier later in the year. I can name a stretch of the season where they are going to get about 5 wins. The Bears, Jaguars, Seahawks, Dolphins, very well possible. You get 4 wins there. That's 4 wins automatically. I don't think it's impossible to say the Jets. Then the Browns, that's 5. I don't think it's crazy to say the Jets could beat Pittsburgh. That's 6. Now you're on your way, right? Maybe they get beat the Dolphins. Sweep them. That's 7. All right, maybe you get an upset or something like that against New England. That's 8. If you really look at the schedule, although it might look tough on paper, the Jets are improved. And again, I don't want to hear this, 6 wins, but if we show improvement. Let's start going out there, winning football games, and being in the conversation. So I have the Jets finishing in third place. And again, their floor is, and I don't even think their floor is an exact record. Going off of their schedule, I put their floor at 5 and 12. And again, I don't think that the Jets' floor is a proper record. I personally believe the Jets' floor is if you come out of this year with no answers at the quarterback position and the head coach. If you win 6 games, your and Zach Wilson didn't play very well, and Saleh's won 10 games in 2 years, that's when you start to wonder, all right, that's the worst case scenario for the Jets. I wouldn't say it's an exact record. Because if the Jets win 5 games or if they win 6 games, I wouldn't say it's the exact record. I would mostly say that if there was for the Jets, their floor would be 5-12. And again, 5-12 would be the record, but more so, your floor would be if you go into the offseason not knowing if you have the answer at quarterback and not really knowing what your coach is. That's how I see it. So I have the Jets at 5-12 as their floor. They're ceiling up to 9-8. Again, it could be 10-7 if Wilson and Saleh are on the same page and things are going right. But I see them realistically 9-8. 10-7, you'd have to get some big upsets. Maybe like go on the road, beat Green Bay, or open up with the Ravens beating them. I don't foresee that happening. Maybe upsetting a big time team. That's how you get to the 10 win. I don't foresee that. It's possible, but I would say most likely you get to the 9-8 mark as your ceiling. And my actual prediction for the Jets this year, their win total this year is at 5.5. I'll take the over. My prediction, Jets finish 8-9 in third place. That's what I see. And I think that's realistic. Again, I just read you about 6 games where the Jets should win automatically. Browns, Jaguars, Lions, Bears, who else? Seahawks, that's 5, right? And again, you should probably be able to at least split with the Dolphins, that's 6. There's other games in there too you might be able to steal. That gets you to 8-9. So Jets are finishing in third place. And my last place team, and you could call me crazy, I just don't buy into Tua, I don't buy into the hype, is the Miami Dolphins. Okay, look, I've been on Tua's side for a very long time. I've always have been. Even his first year in the league where everybody was writing him off, I still kind of was like, all right, look, it's his first year, he went through growing pains. Second season, I was still like, all right, look, I've gotten to the point now with Tua where I'm like, he's not it. He's not the guy. And I don't believe the Dolphins have the quarterback. You could give him as many weapons as you want. I don't believe the Dolphins have the quarterback that can go out, win them football games, win them 10, 11 games, put them up there in second place amongst the Bills, amongst other AFC teams. Look at the AFC. Look at the quarterbacks. Just look at the Bills, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. Look at those quarterbacks. Tua's not near any of those. And you could sit here and say, oh yeah, well, neither is Zach Wilson. But you can't say that yet. We've seen Zach Wilson for 13 games. You can't say that yet. Tua, you've now seen for many games, and you really haven't seen a ton. You could say, oh no, well, now he's the number 1 receiver. What has he shown you that he's going to absolutely tear it up with Tyreek Hill? I don't believe in this Dolphins team. I know they got weapons. I know that. I understand that. I know that they got, Jalen Waddle, and they got Tyreek Hill, and they have Gesicki, and all that stuff. I understand that. They don't have a quarterback. I don't believe in Tua. I don't think he's the guy. You could surround him with Randy Moss. You could surround him with Jerry Rice. He's not the guy in Miami. That's how I see it. It's bad when you hear people talking, well, if Lamar doesn't re-sign or extend with the Ravens, does he maybe go to the Dolphins next offseason? That's when you know it's bad, when there's already people talking about a possible replacement. I think that's premature, but I just don't believe in Tua. They have weapons. They have talent. I'm not saying that. They have one of the more talented rosters in the AFC East, actually. I mean, look, Tyreek Hill's very good. Jalen Waddle's, he's an up-and-coming young wide receiver that's got a ton of talent and a ton of upside. Gesicki's a very solid tight end. You got all that. You got all those weapons. I get that. And you added Raheem Mostert. You got Myles Gaskin, Chase Edmonds, all those pieces. I understand all that. You have a lot of weapons. You don't have the quarterback. We oftentimes talk about this. What's most important? If you have a quarterback that can go out and win you football games. I don't think Miami has that. Surround him with whatever weapons you want. I don't think Miami has the pieces to do it. So I think Miami finishes in last. I think their floor is 5-12. I think their ceiling, I think is 10-7. And look, again, I don't think that's going to happen. I have their floor as being 5-12. I think their ceiling's 10-7. And the ceiling's 10-7 is if Tua and Tyreek Hill do get on the same page. They could be a 10-win team. Are they 11-12 win team? I wouldn't go that far. But could they be a 10-win team? Yes. I just don't foresee it happening. So that's their ceiling. My prediction is 6-11. It could be 7-10. There's a couple games where it's kind of toss up. They got Pittsburgh in their schedule. That could go either way depending on who's the quarterback as well. They're an interesting team. Do they maybe, the Jets, if you see them sweeping the Jets, maybe splitting against the Jets. There's a couple toss-ups on their schedule that could get them to 7-10. Either way, it wouldn't be good enough. I have the Dolphins finishing last 6-11. Could be 7-10, but I more so would lean to the 6-11 spot, finishing last, the Miami Dolphins. And out of the AFC East, Bills make the playoffs. The AFC East is stacked. Look, Bills make the playoffs in the AFC East. You have the Ravens and the Bengals are more incapable in the AFC North. That's 3. AFC South, there's got to be somebody that comes out of there. AFC South is going to be tough to predict. And in the AFC West, you probably see 3 teams. That's your 7. So, so many of these games are going to matter because the AFC is so stacked. It's going to take 10 wins to get in. It's going to be tough. So I have the Bills making the playoffs out of here. Now, again, just finally, Bills finishing in first, prediction 13-4, their floor 11-6, ceiling 14-3, prediction 13-4. Patriots in second, floor 8-9, could be 7-10, but I'm going to roll with 8-9. Ceiling 11-6, and their prediction is 9-8. Jets, floor is 5-12, ceiling 9-8, could get to 10-7, but I would lean more towards 9-8, and my prediction is 8-9. And the Dolphins, floor 5-12, ceiling could get up to 10 wins at 10-7, but my prediction could be 7-10. Couple games there could be toss-ups, but I'm going to roll with 6-11. So Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins are my 4 teams in the AFC East. That is my first standings predictions in the AFC. So Bills finishing in first, Patriots finishing in second, Jets in third, Dolphins rounding it out in last, 4th place. Again, they got weapons, they got talent. I'm not saying they don't. Do they have the quarterback? I don't think so. What has he shown you to believe that? You could say, he's had no weapons. He had Jalen Waddle last year. He had Gesicki. I understand now he's got Tyreek Hill, who's unbelievable. But, really, I don't know. I don't know. And again, and I haven't even mentioned this. This just popped up, too. They have a rookie head coach. They got rid of Brian Flores, who was phenomenal in the locker room. They got all the stuff with the owner and all that. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Like, the Dolphins, yeah, you can look at it. They got Tyreek Hill. That's great. But it's really not that ideal of a situation. Their quarterback's a big question. Their head coach, it's a rookie head coach, so you automatically know there's going to be growing pains with a rookie head coach. Your ownership and, losing and all that. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that the Dolphins, everybody's saying, the Dolphins this, Dolphins that. They don't have a quarterback. What has Tua shown you? I understand he now has Tyreek Hill, but he's had weapons. He's had a solid amount of weapons over the years, and he hasn't done anything with them. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think the Jets are the better team than the Dolphins. That's how I see it, personally. And you could say, was Zach Wilson better? Zach Wilson's played 13 games in the NFL. You can't sit here and say, Zach Wilson stinks. He's played 13 games in the NFL. You also can't sit here and call him Joe Namath, right? You gotta be even there. You can't call him Joe Namath. You also can't say he's a bust. He's played 13 games. So, I don't know. Bills in first, Patriots in second, Jets in third, Dolphins finishing last. That is my AFC East predictions. And again, tomorrow will be NFC East, and we'll bounce back and forth. NFC East, AFC, NFC, AFC, NFC, AFC, NFC. So that's how we'll do it. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of basketball here. As the New York Knicks yesterday extended RJ Barrett during this Donovan Mitchell news and stuff like that. Look, we all have heard the rumors a long time, for over the past, and again, I feel like I've said this before. I talked a couple days ago about Donovan Mitchell and the RJ Barrett possibly being in the deal, and I said this, when you look at it, the Knicks and the Jazz, their trades they've been on, off, on, off, on, and off. They've warmed up during the draft, and they kind of cooled down. Then they got hot again, and now they've cooled down. Now they're hot again, and it's all right, training camp's coming up soon. Let's get a deal done. You hear last night that Leon Rose kind of told, Danny Ainge and the Jazz that, look, your deadline, if you want RJ Barrett, is now. And, they obviously felt the deal wasn't good enough. They obviously wanted more pieces. Was RJ Barrett in that deal? Who knows? and they ended up extending RJ Barrett. So RJ Barrett now is off the table in Donovan Mitchell, rumors and a Donovan Mitchell trade possibilities. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing for Knicks fans, well, that's for you to choose. Again, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a bad move for the Knicks because I think RJ Barrett's a very good player. But, you do say, okay, well, is he really the guy that's going to help you lead your franchise to great things over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 years, that Donovan Mitchell maybe would be able to do. So, look, and the Knicks still have the assets, and I think Leon Rose really came down to it. I don't think Leon Rose wanted to give up RJ Barrett. I don't think he did. And I think if he was going to give up RJ Barrett, I don't think Leon Rose wanted to give up much else. That's just how I see it. That's my opinion. And I think that's why Danny Ainge probably wanted RJ Barrett, probably wanted Obi Toppin in the same deal, maybe throwing Emmanuel quickly, and maybe throwing like 2-3 picks. He wanted all the young guys. And I don't think Leon Rose wanted to do that. So he extends RJ Barrett. And look, RJ Barrett's 22 years old. He's played 3 years in the NBA. He continues to get better each and every year. And I think that's the one positive about this. And again, I like this move for the Knicks. I think it's good. Again, look, I was not anti them trading RJ Barrett to the Jazz to get Donovan Mitchell. I wasn't against that. I'm also not against extending RJ Barrett. Because if the Knicks truly believe that they got something in RJ Barrett and that they don't want to go out and trade away their entire young core for Donovan Mitchell, then you should extend him. You still have other pieces that you could trade. Now I think it makes it more likely that Obi Toppin could be most likely on the table via a trade for the New York Knicks. Maybe Emmanuel quickly could be on the table as well. More young guys, maybe throw Evan Fournier in as a salary dump as well. Now you look at the other options. Obi Toppin's probably now like the main guy that the Jazz are going to target. But again, RJ Barrett's 22 years old. He's young and up and coming in his third year in the league. He's got a lot of potential. And the one thing I will always tell you about is that you got to say about RJ Barrett, he's gotten better each and every season. Now he's going into his fourth year. You expect more improvement. Fifth year, sixth year, and all that stuff going really down the road. It's like you really expect him to, kind of burst open, blow up, and be this big-time guy, be the face of the franchise, be the guy that is leading the Knicks for the next 10 to 15 years. And he's shown potential of doing that. I mean, look, he was the third overall pick. Everybody was, it was Zion Williamson and John Morant in front of him. Zion really hasn't done much. John Morant's been phenomenal. Then you have RJ Barrett, who's getting better each and every year. Look at the points per game each year. 14 points per game in 2019-2020. That was his rookie year. He played 56 games. His second year, 2020-2021, 17.6 points per game. Last year, 20 points per game. That was 27th in basketball. So top 30 in some of these numbers. That's solid. Getting better each year. 14, 17, 20. This year, all right, maybe 23. Then you're then you turn into that 23, 24, 25 point per game type guy. I know he's not that big time scorer that's going to put up 35 a night like Steph Curry. He's not going to light it up from three. His 3-point percentage isn't very good. He had actually a pretty good year from three. He shot 40%. He's a career 35.7 3-point percent. He's not a good shooter. He's not. Field goal percentage 41.8. But he does get to the basket. He play makes. He's solid, pretty solid defensively. He finds other ways to score. And in a league where it's overly reliant on the three ball, for a guy that doesn't shoot the three very well, especially being a young player, all these guys that come out of college now or high school or overseas, wherever they come from, because it seems like they come from everywhere now, a lot of them are very good with the three ball. So for RJ Barrett to be a prospect that's really not that good with the three ball, John Morant's not phenomenal shooting. RJ Barrett's a guy that still finds other ways to score. He's a good scorer. He gets to the hoop. Draws fouls. He's good. He can get the mid-range shot. He can knock down a couple threes. Not going to knock down a ton. He's not going to attempt a ton either. About 5 or 6 a game. Not going to be a guy that's going to go out there and shoot 10, 11 threes like Steph Curry and make 9 of them. But he's going to knock a couple down. Not at a high rate, but he'll do it a couple times. Last year, you see, even with just the fun, the little stuff, you're like, all right, he's over. He's too kind of, he's over relying on the dominant hand. Started going a little bit to the left last year, right? And you start to see, and those are the little improvements that you've been able to see from RJ Barrett. A little too right hand dominant, all right, now he starts to go to the left. A little too much left, goes to the right. Like, he's starting to use both hands, starting to incorporate a lot of these other little things into his game that's really going to make him that better player. So I like this deal for the Knicks. I think it's solid. It also shows you that the Knicks finally hit on a draft pick because it's a crazy, crazy stat. So, by the way, these are really the logistics. So, the Knicks guard RJ Barrett finalizing 4-year rookie extension that could be worth up to $120 million per his agent Bill Duffy. And again, he won't get traded now in the Donovan Mitchell deal. So it does not leave a Donovan Mitchell deal off the table. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but RJ Barrett's not going to be involved. So there's a crazy stat. RJ Barrett extension ends a 23-year drought for the Knicks. He is the first draft pick to agree to a multi-year deal extension. After the rookie deal since Charlie Ward in 1999. That was from Woj. So a 23-year drought has been ended. Last time somebody signed a deal after his rookie contract, Charlie Ward, 1999. So Leon Rose, Knicks fans, you got to give him some credit. He executed this. Got this guy 3rd overall, made the right pick, although it was kind of expected that John Morant and Zion would go 1 and 2. Mostly, Zion 1, John Morant 2. I think we all knew Barrett was going to go 3. Everybody kind of saw it coming. But the Knicks finally got something right with their draft pick. I mean, you look at the other ones. Obi Toppin might get traded. He was highly touted. He might get traded. You wonder what IQ's future holds. Is he going to maybe be in the possible deal? RJ Barrett, they finally got a draft pick right. All these years of messing up these draft picks, drafting these guys every year, Knicks fans saying, let's load up in the draft. Nothing happens. Drafting bust after bust after bust. Even like a Kristaps Porzingis, getting rid of him, having to trade him. Finally they get a guy, they get a young player that they drafted or developing. He's getting better, he's improving, face of the franchise, all those positives. You extend him. And now you hope he's here for a very long time. So again, I was not anti Donovan Mitchell for RJ Barrett. I wasn't. I didn't. Look, you're getting Donovan Mitchell. That's how I see it. But you could still you could still get a deal done. Obi Toppin's going to be an intriguing name going into his 2nd year. The athleticism he brings. You want to kind of revamp with some young, talented, energized guys. Obi Toppin brings all of that to the table. You also saw Obi Toppin last year play really well when he got the minutes. I don't think people got a full preview of what Obi Toppin can be. Tom Thibodeau didn't play him much. He gets a lot more minutes. He's a very good player. Very talented. You saw him at Dayton. Very talented player. So, I like what the Knicks did here. I do. I mean, again, I still think a move can get done. I would probably say at this point, I don't think a deal's going to get done, but it's still possible. It's not like they've locked up Obi Toppin for the next 4 years. It's not like they've extended IQ. The Knicks are still open to a deal. It's just gotten to the point where they're not going to drag this out. They're going to lock up RJ Barrett. They're going to keep him here, and RJ Barrett's going to be a Knick for the next couple seasons as they lock him up. And again, continues to get better each and every year. And you've seen that time and time again from RJ Barrett. So the Knicks extend Barrett, finally get a rookie that they extend because they have not had one of those in 23 years. They have not had a rookie get extended, which is crazy. And, to the Knicks, and this does show you for the Knicks that Leon Rose, the front office that you have now, there's finally some hope in terms of bringing in the right pieces, bringing in the right players that can lead you to, to lead you to a championship. Championship's way down the road. Knicks are not there yet. But if they continue to build brick by brick, they're getting a little bit better. Jalen Brunson signed him. Now you extend RJ Barrett. It's like, all right, now you got some young pieces. Now they're getting better. They're not there yet, but they're getting better. I think that's where, if you're a Knicks fan, you got to at least feel good about where you're at. You're getting better. You're not going to win a championship this year. I'm on a record saying that. If they go out and win, go back to the Tuesday, August 30th podcast, and you can hear me say that, and everybody can make fun of me. But they're not going to. Let's be honest here. But if you continue to build, continue to improve, little steps like this, extending a guy you took 3rd overall, that he's continuing to get better, signing Jalen Brunson, going into the prime of his career, maybe still striking a trade for Donovan Mitchell. It's not out of the equation yet. Do I foresee it happening? Probably not at this point, because I think the Jazz really wanted RJ Barrett. That seemed when the deal seemed closest when RJ Barrett was included. I think a lot of the unprotected picks also go in there too. Leon Rose might not want to give up a ton. Leon Rose, it seems like maybe he is going down this path where he wants to build with young talent, not artificial talent. I mean, that's why maybe you see the deals of Julius Randle maybe being out the door soon. If not in the offseason, maybe they get rid of him at the deadline if he's a complete mess. I know that's way down the road. You talk about that when you got to cross that bridge when you get there. But, the Knicks are getting better. They are. They're getting better. That 2020 playoff team, that was a fluke. It was clear. But you got a little bit more young talent. They're a more talented team. They're getting better step by step. I know the draft wasn't good this year. We know not really what Knicks fans wanted. But they did go out and sign some guys. Now they expend Barrett. Things are looking a little bit more promising. They're improving. And it's taking time. It's going to take time. And I know Knicks fans, and I understand, it's similar to Jet fans. I'm a Jet fan, believe me, I know it. I know Knicks fans don't want to hear, especially a Net fan, saying, you're improving, you're getting better. Because they've been hearing that for years. That, we'll get a draft pick, get a good lottery pick, let it blow up right in your face. But this is a positive sign. This is a lottery pick. Your third pick in the draft a couple years ago, 22 years old. I mean, he's got so much talent. He's so young. This is a sign of maybe the Knicks, maybe things are starting to turn for the New York Knicks for the better. We'll see. So, Knicks extend RJ Barrett, 4-year deal. Looks like it's going to be worth somewhere between $120 million. So, good amount of money, as always, for these guys. And RJ Barrett gets paid, and RJ Barrett will not be heading to Utah. I will tell you, though, if he gets traded, all of this I just said, if he gets traded, forget about all of it. Because if he somehow gets traded, if the Knicks somehow trade him after they extended him, that'd be funny. That'd be a Knicks thing to happen. But no, they're getting better. So they extend Barrett to a deal worth up to $120 million. All right, so now we'll head to the New York Sports Update here to finish things off on the podcast. All right, so as for the Yankees today and the rest of baseball, you got the Guardians, Orioles, Reds, Cardinals, Rays, Marlins, Nationals, A's, Blue Jays, Cubs, Tigers, Mariners, Rockies, Braves, Twins, Red Sox, Rangers, Astros, Brewers, Pirates, White Sox, Royals, Phillies, Diamondbacks, and the Padres, Giants. Mets, Dodgers tonight, 7:10 Eastern, TBS. I guess you could also find it on SNY or either Picks. It's one of those. Dodgers come into tonight's game 89-38, looking to become the first team to 90 wins. Mets come into tonight's game 82-47. Dodgers have former Yankee Andrew Heaney on the mound. He's 2-1 with a 1.94 ERA. How is he pitching to a 1.94 ERA? I don't know. Everybody that leaves the Yankees goes to L.A., dominates. So Joey Gallo's hitting home runs left and right. The Mets got Taijuan Walker, 10-3, 3.38 ERA, over-under set at 8.5. A big 3-game set for the Mets. This is really the last really good team that the Mets are going to be playing until they play the Milwaukee in the middle of September, and then Atlanta that will leak into October. After that, it's the Pirates, it's the Cubs, it's the Marlins, it's the Nationals. Do they get the Cubs twice? Is it the Cubs twice, or I don't know. But Mets are in a good spot to make. A's, some of the worst teams in all of baseball, they got coming up. But after this series, so again, the Mets have done a good. And I know there's some frustration with the Mets and the way things went against Colorado. But the Mets have done a good job of bouncing back. They've also done a good job of not getting caught looking ahead. This could easily be a series where the Mets get caught looking ahead to September saying, look at that schedule. Look at those games that we got to play. We got to play the Pirates. We got to play the Marlins. But Showalter has done a good job of keeping his team kind of, good in terms of, just taking, doing the task that's at hand, not getting caught looking ahead. All right, and the Yankees-Angels tonight. Yankees come into tonight's game 78-51. Angels come into tonight's game 56-73. Yeah, Jameson Taillon on the mound. He's 12-4 with a 3.89 ERA. And the Angels have Mayers on the mound. He's 1-0 with a 4.46 ERA over under set at 8.5, 9:38 p.m. Eastern, MLB Network. And yes, by the way, we just got this news in, and today's cut down day. And I know Strevler and all them got cut, but Strevler will forever remember for the magical run. Tomorrow, I think I'll probably do my kind of roster updates. I'll also record it in the Trench with Gang Green podcast today if you're interested in checking that out. But we just got news in here. Jets are cutting Tevin Coleman. So pretty shocking, which would mean they cut Pirine, now they cut Coleman. You know Breece Hall and Michael Carter are making the roster. So are they going with Zonovan Knight or Ty Johnson? It's going to be interesting. I don't foresee Ty Johnson making the roster. It looks like Zonovan Knight very well might make the roster. Or they hold on to 4. Although what's the point in holding on to 4 if Tevin Coleman's a veteran? I don't know. I'd assume now that probably Zonovan Knight will probably be the third running back if they roll with 3. So that's definitely pretty surprising. It's definitely a little surprising. I was not expecting this, to be honest. But it looks as if the Jets are releasing Tevin Coleman. So it looks as if Zonovan Knight is gonna be the guy that he's gonna be it's a young running back room, but it's a very talented room. So anyway, as for fantasy baseball, I'm currently winning 24-5 in my main league. Today I've got Taijuan Walker and Logan Webb on the mound. I made a roster move last night. I put Tony Gonsolin on the IL. He's on the IL now. Dodgers Dave Roberts said that he expects Gonsolin for him to miss only 2 starts after the right-hander was placed on the 15-day IL Monday. Fabian Ardara of The Athletic reports. So that's that. And then I believe I'll pick somebody else up today. Probably a pitcher, very well started today. And I dropped Jared Walsh. And as for fantasy baseball in my other league, I'm currently losing 20-14. But today I've got Taijuan Walker and Logan Webb on the mound. Like I said in my main league, I'm going to pick somebody up. I don't know who to pick up. Just got to find somebody that's pitching today. I probably should. But I guess we'll see. So anyway, that will do it for the podcast here today. Big sports day ahead. You obviously have all the all the cut downs in the NFL. Kind of the first surprise of camp was Tevin Coleman getting cut. I think that was the first surprise for the Jets. First surprise for the Jets. There have been maybe some other surprises for other teams, but for the Jets, the first surprise is Tevin Coleman. I did not foresee that happening. I thought, if anything, the Jets would roll with a four-man running back room with Zonovan Knight, Tevin Coleman, Breece, and Michael Carter. Or if they were going to roll with 3, it would be Tevin Coleman, Michael Carter, and Breece, just because of the fact that Coleman's the veteran. But look, I like Zonovan Knight. He's explosive, he's quick, and he was working on special teams too. So was Tevin Coleman. But the Jets probably felt, look, he's younger, he's a little faster, he's a little more energy. Add that to an already young room. He can play a little special teams. The Jets probably felt, look, we're going to take the young guy that provides a little bit of energy and a little bit of a boost to the roster rather than the old veteran. So I don't know if Tevin Coleman will catch on to the practice squad. I don't know. I don't know if he'll catch on. I guess we'll see. So anyway, that will do it for the podcast here today. He'll probably get picked up elsewhere actually, but we'll see. So that will do it for the podcast here today. As always, another good one in the books tomorrow. For those Giant fans out there, I will be doing my NFC East record predictions and then AFC, NFC switching back and forth all the way up until Thursday Night Football, Bills-Rams next week. So looking forward to that. As always, hope you enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.